Before we begin, make sure you gather props. Have at least one block or something that can be used for a block, like a big, thick book. A hardcover book is great. You may actually need a strap later on in class. If you don't have a strap, a belt works fine, a scarf, or even one of those belts from your bathrobe. Padding for your knees. I use these rubber paddings because they're just smaller, they're easier, but blankets work really well. So you can just grab whatever blanket you have nearby. And then come and find a comfortable seated position. And if your back is really uncomfortable and you're curving your back, or even your hip flexors are super tight and uncomfortable, put something underneath your sit bones. You may have noticed I put my little padding under my sit bones. You could do the same thing with a blanket. You could do that with a pillow that you have nearby, or even your block, and just sit up on your block. Once you feel comfortable in your seated position, deepen your breath. Come into your Ujjayi breath, that whisper sounding breath, by running your breath along the backside of your breath. Take a moment as you inhale to really feel the quality of your breath right now. No judgment, just observation. What does it feel like? Exhale. Again, notice the quality of your breath. Now as you inhale, you can make small changes to the quality of your breath to bring it more to where you'd like it to be, softer yet deeper. Now as you inhale, bring your breath into your low back. Exhale, rinse your breath through your low back. Your low back is going to be your spot today. The intent is to breathe into your low back. And this requires your breath to get even deeper, to pull your breath into your low back. And as your breath gets deeper and deeper through this intent of breathing into your low back, notice how it changes the quality of your attention and your mind. So again, to be able to do this, let's do this again, but using other techniques also. So active feet. Spread and lift your toes. Press into your sit bones, press into your feet, as well as the parts of your legs that are on the floor. Then pull your belly in just a tiny little bit for supporting your low back. Then inhale from there, telescope your ribs up, getting longer. Exhale, all the breath out, getting up deep. Don't collapse. Pull your belly back towards the spine at the end of the exhale, and notice how this actually starts massaging your low back as well as supporting it. So as we move through class, notice as you get your breath deeper and deeper to touch your spot, your low back more and more, this in turn changes the quality of your attention and your mind. And then in turn, that helps you to get deeper into this connection of your breath into your low back. Moving on to pranayama. Kapalabhati. 50 to 75 pumps of Kapalabhati, which is that short, sharp exhale. The belly pulls in on the exhale, but it immediately lets go, puffs out, so that the inhale passively can come back in. Both the exhale and the inhale are not super deep. If you're confused in what this is, and even our next pranayama, which is Uddiyana, you can stop the video right now and go into either YouTube or your app and look at the pranayama video for Kapalabhati and Uddiyana. So after Kapalabhati, 50 to 75 pumps, we'll follow that by 1 round of Uddiyana, which is the exhaling forcefully all the breath out, pulling your belly back and up towards the spine without breathing in. Hold that for as long as is interesting or comfortable. Then let your belly go out and breathe in. That's 1 round. We'll do 2 rounds of this. I'm going to talk you through the first round and you're on your own for the second round. Leg positions, you can stay and use a cross leg, but just switch the cross of your legs right now. And before coming into the second round, switch again the cross of your legs. Or you can do this in Baddha Konasana. If neither of those feel great, straddle is always an option, even if that's just a barely straddle. No matter what leg position you're doing, active feet, and press into whatever part of your legs and your feet are on the floor. And you can do any of these leg positions sitting up on a prop or not. I'm just going to move mine. Come into chest opener for Kapalabhati. If you're pregnant, you're not doing either of these pranayama. Instead, you're doing deep breathing into the low back, mid back, and upper back. 3 each. And if you still have time before the rest of us finish, do that again. Keep expanding your back ribs. Everyone else, squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. Take a partial inhale in. Short, sharp exhales. Slow down the last 10 pumps of your Kapalabhati. And before coming into your Uddiyana, first take a deep inhale in. Hold the breath at the top of the breath. And then exhale normally all the breath out to get empty. Sort of a pausing pranayama in between the Kapalabhati and the Uddiyana. Then start with an inhale. Walk your hands forward. Exhale forcefully all the breath out. Get empty. Hold the breath out. Don't inhale. Suction your belly back and up towards the spine. Use your hands on the floor. And if they don't reach, grab your blocks so that your hands can be flat. Pull the floor towards you to pull your ribs away from your waist, even while holding all your breath out. Before needing to inhale, let your belly go rather. Breathe in, sit back up. Do the second round on your own. Use this pranayama to feel for lifting your ribs away from the belly and the low back. Use it to pump out and massage the muscles in your low back. When you're done, come back up to sit. If you're in Baddha Konasana, gather your legs in your hands. And everyone, move on to your backs. We're going to start right into abdominals. Starting with elbow to knee. First lying on the floor. The back of your head flat on the floor, so if you need to move a ponytail, do that, or a bun. Then, feel first for your feet. Spread and lift the toes. Activate your feet. You can stay here with the feet on the floor and do the variation of elbow to knee where you're just lifting one leg straight or even straight up towards the ceiling. If you're pregnant, you could do that part with the legs. Keep the head on the floor. No pulling the belly in, no breath holds. Everyone else, clasp your hands behind the base of your skull. If you have further to go, bring the knees over the hips, feet lower than the line of the knees. Active feet, no matter what you're doing. Push the top arm of the sacrum into the floor. Inhale, lift the head and shoulders off of the floor. Hold the breath, spread the low back down to scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, bring both elbows towards the left knee, right leg straight. It's out at a 45-degree angle. If your low back is really tweaky, you can bring the legs straight up towards the ceiling. Pull your low belly down. Breathe in deeply into your spot, your low back. Come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, both elbows towards the right knee, left leg straight. Push out through the ball of the left leg and pull your low belly down. Keep supporting your low back, push it into the floor. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the left knee, right leg straight. Pull your low belly down. Breathe in, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the right knee, left leg straight. Pull your low belly down. Breathe in deeply, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop the tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the left knee, right leg straight. Now squeeze your right sit bone muscle towards your tailbone. Pull your low belly down. Breathe in and come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the right knee, left leg straight. Squeeze your left sit bone muscle towards your tailbone. Pull your low belly down. Breathe in spaciously into your bottom ribs. Come back to center. Hold the breath. Spread the low back down. Scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the left knee, right leg straight. Squeeze your right sit bone muscle towards your tailbone. Pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the right knee, left leg straight. Squeeze your left sit bone muscle towards your tailbone. Pull your low belly down. Breathe in deeply, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the left knee, right leg straight. Squeeze your right sit bone muscle towards your tailbone. Pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the right knee, left leg straight. Pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bring your head, bring your feet down. Breathe in to your belly, and then push your breath into your low back. Exhale, rinse the breath between your belly and your low back. Pulling the belly down, which will help to pull your exhale down into the low back. Grab one of your blocks. And if you don't have a block, grab a pillow. Make a sort of roll with your pillow and put it between your thighs. Abs with a block. If you're pregnant, you're doing abless with a block. Head stays down, arms stay on the floor, but you can have them on your belly if you'd like. Feet on the floor. It's exhale, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your block. Inhale, release that. It's like a little bit of the tiniest little pelvic tilt. Everyone else, you could do this basic abs at the block with the feet down. You could do this with the knees bent, ankles straight up from the knees. Or if you have further to go, the legs can come straight up towards the ceiling. Clasp your hands behind the base of the skull. Breathe in along your whole spine. Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your block. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders up, pull your low belly down. Inhale, shoulders and head to the floor. Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your prop. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders up, pull your low belly down. Inhale, shoulders and head to the floor. Do 3 more on your own. When you're done, bring the head and the shoulders back to the floor, bring the feet to the floor. Remove your prop off to the side, but have it nearby, setting up for bridge pose. Supported bridge, we'll do a leg variation. Graze the back of your heels with your longest fingertips, spread your arms, palms up. Active feet. Feet are a little wider than hips width. Push into your feet, spread your breath along your spine and through your back ribs. Curl the tailbone up, squeeze your sit bone muscles. Exhale, lift the hips away from the floor. Push into your feet, squeeze those sit bone muscles. Inhale, lift your sternum towards your chin. Exhale, squeeze those sit bone muscles, send the tailbone towards the back of the knees. Lengthen your low back and support the low back with the strength of your foundation, your legs, your active feet, and your sit bone muscles, your buttocks, your strong buttocks. Keep that strength, but grab your block. Place your block on the highest, most comfortable edge for you underneath your sacrum, which could be 2 blocks if you have them, stacked. Ankle over thigh. Push into both feet. Heel toe your left foot in once or twice so that you feel that your ankle makes a straight line from your left hip. Push into that foot strongly. Inhale the right knee into the chest. Exhale, hook the right ankle over the thigh and push into that ankle. Keep the back of your head and your neck relaxed. Inhale, lift your sternum towards the chin. Exhale, push into the left foot. Squeeze those sit bone muscles, sliding the tailbone towards the back of the left knee in that direction. Breathe into your right hip. Pushing into the right ankle. Exhale, send your right knee forward and down towards the floor. Slowly inhale, bring the right knee into the chest. Exhale, strongly place that foot on the floor, feeling for it lining up with your right hip. Inhale the left knee into the chest. Exhale, hook that ankle over the thigh. Push into the ankle. Pushing into your right foot, squeezing your sit bone muscles. Breathe in, lifting the sternum towards the chin. So you're getting longer. Exhale, squeeze those sit bone muscles. Descend your tailbone towards the back of the right knee. Support your low back. Inhale luxuriously and pull your breath from your low back into your left hip. Exhale, feel where you can soften without letting go of the pose, without letting go of the strength of your foundation. Breathe in, bring the left knee into the chest. Exhale, foot to the floor. Ground down through both feet, press into them. Inhale, curl your pubic bone towards the belly button. Lift off of your block or your blocks. Move them off to the side. Stay up. As you exhale, keep pressing into the feet and even squeeze your heels in towards the direction of your armpits without the feet physically moving. To come down in increments on a long exhale. Bring the upper back down, mid back, low back. Your tailbone is the last to come down. Breathe in luxuriously all along the length of your spine, from your tailbone all the way up to the base of your skull. And notice and feel the space you're creating. And then grab your block. Two-part twisting abs with a block or a pillow or whatever prop you have to squeeze. A book would be uncomfortable. I would not suggest a book. Even a towel that you roll up into a roll. Clasp your hands behind the base of your skull. If you're pregnant, you're repeating abless with a prop. Everyone else, clasp hands behind the base of the skull, legs up, bent at 90 degrees, or even feet on the floor. Inhale, press the top rim of your sacrum into the floor. Lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Hold the breath, press the top of the rim of the sacrum down, squeeze your block. Exhale, scoop the tailbone up, bring both elbows towards your left thigh, and pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath. Spread the low back down, squeeze your block. Exhale, scoop the tailbone up, bring both elbows towards your right thigh, pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, squeeze your prop. Exhale, scoop the tailbone up, both elbows towards your left thigh, pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, squeeze your prop. Exhale, scoop the tailbone up, bring both elbows towards your right thigh, pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. This time, flex your feet and push up through the heels of the feet. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, squeeze your prop. Exhale, scoop the tailbone up, both elbows towards your left thigh. Get off of your left shoulder blade, pull your low belly down. Breathe in, come back to center. Hold the breath, squeeze your prop. Exhale, scoop the tailbone up, both elbows towards your right thigh. Pull your low belly down. Breathe in, come back to center. Do one more round on your own. When you're done, bring your head to the floor, bring your feet to the floor. Remove your block. Breathe in. Feel what this building of your own heat is doing for your breath, for your tension, as well as your low back. And then turn over to your side. Using the palms of the hands on the floor, slowly make your way up to sit. Let your head and your neck relax the whole way up. Then come onto your hands and knees. Let's do some cat-cow. Come on to hands and knees with the shoulders right underneath the elbows. Press through the palms, especially the webbing between your pointer finger and the thumb. Tuck the toes. Inhale, drape your belly down, chest forward. You can lift your chin a little bit. Bring the tops of the feet on the floor. Exhale, round your back towards the ceiling. Pull your belly towards the spine. Unless you're pregnant, no pulling the belly in. Inhale. Exhale, keep pressing into your feet, using this foot position of the tops of the feet on the floor on your exhale. And tucking of the toes on the inhale. As you move through your cat-cows, feel for the undulation of your spine and the connection of the movement and your breath. Then come back to neutral. Dolphin Prelude. If you have tweaky knees, I do recommend a blanket here, and I'm actually going to grab my blanket. I find with my knees that they get a little tweaky in this pose because of the way they're pressing into the floor. So grab padding whenever you need it. So for this pose, how you're going to come into it is hands and knees. If you're using padding underneath your knees, make sure your knees are on them. Then everyone, widen your knees as wide as your mat. Then bring your forearms down onto the floor. Walk your forearms forward about 6 inches. Take your elbow measurement, just like in Dolphin, wrapping the fingers around your upper arm bones, clasp your hands, everyone. Then relax your neck, push into your forearms, inhale, spread the space between your shoulder blades. Exhale, sit the hips back, and the forehead may rest on the floor, may not. This is not, if you're used to other yoga practices, this is not puppy pose. The hips do not touch the heels. The hips are pretty high for most of us. Breathe into your upper back. Exhale, push into the forearms, wrap the shoulder blades, and let the hips get really heavy. You're actually pushing them back. Breathe in along your whole spine and into your low back, feeling for making space between each vertebrae. To come out of this, keep the forearms on the floor. Inhale, push into them. Bring the chest forward, lift the head off the floor. At this point, you might walk your knees underneath your hips, come back onto hands and knees. Dolphin pose, regular dolphin pose. Bring your forearms back onto the floor. Take your elbow measurement again. Either clasp hands for extra shoulder support or any support, or forearms can be parallel. Relax your neck. Push into your forearms, breathe into the upper back. Exhale, wrap the shoulder blades. Relax your neck and your jaw. You can stay here if this feels like your pose. Everyone, breathe into your upper back. Make it spacious. If you have further to go, tuck your toes. Exhale, lift the hips towards the ceiling. Sit bones up and back. You can keep the knees bent here if this is better for your low back or your hamstrings. Push into your forearms, no matter what version of the pose you're doing.
Breathe in, lift the whole shoulder girdle away from the floor and the upper arm bones. Exhale, with that space, wrap the bottom tips of the shoulder blades towards the armpits a little more. Then slowly come down. Sit back in embryo. If you're pregnant, separate your knees so you have space for the baby. Hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale. Roll up to sit. Walk your hands forward. Exhale into down dog. Push into your hands. Inhale. Sit bones up and back. So you're telescoping the ribs away from the shoulders. Exhale, pull the belly in. So you get a little more space in your low back to push the sit bones back a little more. Breathe in to your upper back. Exhale, walk your feet halfway up the mat and walk your hands to meet them. Forward fold. We're going to roll up in a slightly different way. It's more like hinging up. So bend your knees so the hips are way back. Knees stay over the ankles. Let your head hang. Then bring your arms forward a little bit. Wrap your shoulder blades. Push into your active feet. Inhale, hinging up the hips, pushing into the feet strongly. Stand up from there. Arms up, then straighten your legs. Sit bones squeezing down the backs of your thighs. Pull your belly in. Hands at heart center. Agni Sara in horse stance. Everyone, even if you're pregnant, come into horse. Separate your feet 4 feet apart. Rotate your toes out, 45-degree angle. Sit on your horse. If you're pregnant, you're not doing Agni Sara. What you're doing instead is staying in your horse and squeezing your sit bone muscles so much, pushing into your active feet so much that you can get your pelvis down towards the floor a little more, tucking your tailbone down so that your belly, without pulling it in, it just naturally comes in as your pelvis tilts back slightly. You could do this with the arms hanging. You could add a shoulder shrug if you want, or you can do this with back traction. For the people doing Agni Sara, I'm going to demonstrate it first, lifting my shirt so you can see what's happening in my belly. And we're doing this in back traction. So keep breathing into your Ujjayi breath as you watch me. Agni Sara is similar to Uddiyana. It's a forceful exhale of all the breath out. Holding the breath out, you pull the belly in, but you let it go. And you pull it in, let it go as many times as is interesting. Before you need a breath in, let your belly go, breathe in. So it looks like this. So we're going to do that together. If you're at home and you'd like to air out your belly, lift your shirt. No one's going to see you. Sink your hips down. Take a partial inhale in. Exhale forcefully all the breath out. Get empty. Hold the breath out. Don't inhale. Pump your belly. Before you need to breathe in, let your belly go. Breathe in. Do one more round on your own. Twisting horse. If your low back is super tweaky, especially if you have a low back disc injury and you're avoiding twists, stay in this back traction. Otherwise, bring your hands about halfway down your thighs. Inhale, push into your left arm, I'm mirroring you, and your shoulders will come towards your right thigh. Let your head hang, relaxing your neck. Breathe in along your left ribs. Exhale, push into that left arm a little more to make space along the left side ribs. Inhale, twist to the other side, straightening your right arm, bending the left elbow. If your wrists are tweaky, you can always bring the left forearm onto your thigh. Inhale, pushing into the feet, come back to center. Straighten the legs, heel toe your feet, right underneath your hips. Come to the front of your mat. Sun salutations. This is where a blanket can be handy, especially if you have tweaky knees. Place your blanket halfway across your mat. I'm not doing that just because my mat is super dense and super thick. It supports my knees for these lunges. Sun salutations. But this is a moment where you can adjust your clothing just like I did. Take a sip of water, adjust your hair. But even in these moments of adjusting, active feet, pressing into your feet. Sun salutations. Push into your feet. Isometrically squeeze your legs towards each other. Exhale, hands at heart center. Squeeze your sit bone muscles to send your tailbone towards the floor. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. If your back is tweaky, bend the knees and roll down. Lunge, inhale. Step your left foot back. Pad the left knee if you need to. Your hands can stay down. You can always grab your blocks. Place your hands on any height on the blocks. But if you have further to go, the hands come to your right thigh or even up overhead. Keep spreading the toes on both feet. Lift the toes on the front foot. Plank, exhale, hands down. Inhale, step back. Lower the knees, pull the belly in. Exhale, lower all the way to the floor. Elbows straight back. Move the hands forward in a sphinx. And then bring your forehead to the floor for a moment. Unclog the low back. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Internally rotate it so that the inner knee and inner thigh face the ceiling. Exhale, push back through the ball of the foot. Lower the foot to the floor. Notice how much longer your right leg is from your left leg. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Internally rotate it. Inner thigh faces the ceiling. Exhale, push back through the ball of the foot, lower the leg to the floor. You may have to readjust. Come back into Sphinx. Elbows underneath the shoulders, but a little wider than your shoulders. The middle finger points directly forward, lines up with your wrist, which lines up with your elbow. Push your pubic bone into the floor. Push down and back through your feet and your thighs. Push into your hands. Inhale, drag your ribs forward to lift the chest up. Stay up. Exhale, shoulder blades away from the ears. Pull the front bottom ribs forward. Exhale, lower down. Move the hands underneath the shoulders. Meet up in down dog, wrap your shoulder blades. Lunge, inhale, lightly step the left foot forward. Take the hand position that works for you. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come down first. Lightly step forward. You keep the knees bent to support your low back. Or if your hamstrings and low back feel comfortable, you can straighten your legs. Push into your feet. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, hands at heart center. Do 3 more on your own. One round is, for example, the right leg back in lunge, and then the right leg forward in lunge. The second round is the other side. You're doing 3 of those, starting with the right side. Use these suns to feel the quality of your breath as you connect into your low back throughout the movements. Once you're done, relax your arms by your side, breathing in Ujjayi. Feel into your low back. Notice how your breath has changed. The sun salutations may have affected your breath. Notice how in turn that has affected the quality of your attention and the quality of your mind. You might notice that your mind is either calmer, more focused, or it may have taken a little bit of a spin around the block, if you will. It might be racing. Just notice that. And no matter what it is, as you breathe in, bring your attention to your low back, your spot. You always have the choice, when you notice what your mind is doing, to bring your attention and your breath back into your spot. And making that choice makes a change in the quality of your attention as well as the quality of your mind. Be serious with some standing poses. Come and stand at the front of the mat. Feet can be together or slightly apart, but squeeze your legs towards each other or together. Chair pose, inhale. Sit your hips way back, knees over your ankles. Exhale, forward fold. Hang over your legs. The knees can stay bent. Bend the knees now. Inhale, scoop your ribs forward. Plant the hands to the floor. Exhale, step back into your plank. Now you can lower down with knees up or bring knees down, lower all the way to the floor. Low cobra, move into the Sphinx-like pose. Curl the pubic bone into the floor. Inhale, pushing into the hands, lifting the elbows 2 inches off the floor, chest forward and up. Pulling the chest forward, lower down, hands beneath the shoulders. Exhale, down dog. Warrior 2 with eagle arms. Step your left foot forward. Warrior 2. Push into both feet to float your ribs and your torso up. I'm mirroring you here. Left foot forward in your Warrior 2. Wrap your left elbow on top of your right. You could double wrap, you could single wrap, you could hug yourself, or you could do the gym stretch. I'm going to do this version for myself today. Pull your belly in. Unless you're pregnant, you're using your transverse abdominal muscles. You're pulling them towards the center line. And everyone, squeezing your sit-bone muscles like crazy to support your spine. Pushing into those active feet. Inhale, telescope the ribs up. Exhale, get the elbows right in front of your collarbones. And push the elbows forward. Hands away from the face. Breathe in, pushing into your active feet, feeling the strength of your legs. Exhale, pull your belly in and feel all that support that you're building for yourself, for your low back and your spine. Release your arms, extended warrior variation. Left forearm on the thigh. You can either wrap your right arm around and grab your waistband, your thigh, or something in between, and do this version. For those who like the sacral pulses, your right hand is on your sacrum. The heel of the hand is at the top of the sacrum, and the longest finger is basically at the bottom of the sacrum, and you're using your whole hand. Everyone, push into your left forearm. Inhale, lift your whole torso up. If you're doing those sacral pulses, as you exhale, use your hand to pulse your sacrum away from the low back. The tailbone moves down away from the low back and slightly forward. It's tiny. Everyone, squeeze that right sit bone muscle down the back of the right thigh and plug the outer edge of the right foot into the floor. Inhale up through the right leg, through the hips and into the low back. Exhale, soften your neck and your jaw, separating the backs of the teeth. Release your right arm towards the ceiling, breathe in. Bring both hands to frame your front foot. Exhale, back into your plank. Lower all the way to the floor. Both with hands clasped. You can unclog your low back. Clasp your hands behind your hips. If your shoulders are really painful in this pose, grab your strap or even a wooden spoon and have your hands holding whatever it is about 6 inches or even more apart. Everyone, squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. If you're pregnant, I didn't mention this before, but instead of lying on your belly, you're up on your knees and doing the same thing with your arms, but on your knees. Inhale, lift your chest. If you have further to go, lift your legs. Exhale, squeeze those shoulder blades towards each other. Drag the shoulder blades down the back. Push through the balls of the feet. Inhale here, lift your thighs, your quads away from the floor by squeezing those sit bone muscles, pushing through the balls of the feet to lift your legs up. Lower down. Exhale, down dog. Warrior two. With eagle arms, step your right foot forward. Plug both feet into the floor to stand up. I'm mirroring you. That's my little fancy switcheroo. This time it's the right arm on top of the left. Eagle arms, elbows right in front of the shoulders. Breathe into your upper back. Exhale, shoulder blades away from the ears. Send your elbows forward and hands away from the face. Take the opportunity of holding this pose to notice the quality of your breath. And if it got a little short or a little raggedy, smooth it out. Extended warrior variation. Right forearm on the thigh. You could do the extended warrior variation by grabbing something, or if you'd like to do the sacral pulses, that's an option. Everyone, push into your right forearm. Inhale, the torso away from the thigh without the right forearm lifting up. If you're pulsing your sacrum, exhale, make tiny little pulses. Everyone, squeeze that right sit bone muscle, or actually it's the left sit bone muscle down the back of the left thigh. Unwind. Inhale your left arm towards the ceiling. Exhale, frame your front foot. Step back into down dog. Warrior one variation with the back heel lifted, back knee bent. Step your left foot forward. Warrior one first. Plug both feet into the floor to stand up. Then bring your hands on your hips. Step your right foot in forward about 1 inch. Bend the knee. Now when you bend the knee, make sure you don't bend the left knee in front of your ankle. The right knee comes down towards the floor, the heel up. Inhale, pushing into the hips, telescope your ribs up. Exhale, pull the belly in. Squeeze those sit bone muscles to send your tailbone towards the floor so you're getting longer. Supporting your spine, even as you're building strength in your quads, especially that right quad. Active feet, spread and lift your toes. Now everyone has favorite poses and less favorite poses. And they can change over time. Many a less favorite pose has become my favorite pose over time. But notice, no matter what you feel about a pose, and this pose in particular, breathe in to wherever it's calling to you in your pose. It could be where you're shaking, it could be your right quad or somewhere else. And luxuriate in whatever it is you're feeling. Change the quality of your attention, your mind, by shifting the quality of your breath. Then come back into warrior one, bringing your right heel to the floor. If that's uncomfortable on your hamstring, you could do this with the heel lifted. Easy twisting warrior. Right hand can be on the floor or grab a block. Keep your left knee over the ankle. Relax your neck. Inhale the left arm towards the ceiling. You can always make this a lunge by setting your left knee down, making sure you stay in a 90-degree lunge.
Bring your left hand to the floor. Move props out of the way. Exhale, back into plank and lower to the floor. If you're pregnant, you're doing this up on your knees. We're doing shoulder shrugs. Everybody else is doing it in boat pose. Bring your arms out into goal post, elbows straight out from the shoulders. Curl the pubic bone into the floor, press back through the legs and the feet. Inhale, lift the chest, the arms, and the head. Lift the legs if your low back can tolerate it. Exhale, squeeze your shoulders, shoulder blades, pin your elbows to the back bottom ribs. Inhale spaciously into your upper back. Exhale, squeeze the shoulders, shoulder blades, pin your elbows to the back bottom ribs. Inhale, do one more on your own. Lower down, breathe into your low back. Exhale, down dog. Warrior one variation with the back knee bent, back heel lifted. Step your right foot forward, warrior one. Come into the variation, hands on the hips. Hop your left foot in, about 1 inch. So the knee is right underneath the hip. Keep the right knee right over your heel. Hands push down gently. Inhale, telescope the ribs up. Exhale, squeeze those sit bone muscles to send your tailbone towards the floor. Bend into that left knee more. Notice what happens to the quality of your attention and your mind when it's quiet. Use the quiet to make that choice to send your breath, your attention into your spot, the low back. Easy twisting warrior, yay! Come into warrior one, hips face forward. Grab a block if you're using it, hand on the floor or a block, and it's about 12 to 18 inches away from the inside of the right foot. Plug the left heel into the floor unless your hamstring or low back is really tweaky. Inhale, lift the right arm towards the ceiling. Exhale, push into that left arm. Send your left shoulder blade away from the ear and relax your neck a little more. Bring both hands to the floor. Frame your front foot. Exhale, step back into down dog. Warrior one, archer arms. Step your left foot forward, warrior one. Push into both feet to stand up. This is where you may need your strap. If you can't grab both arms. Be the left arm up, right arm down. If using a strap still does not feel great on either shoulder, you could do the half archer arms. It's the left elbow up, right elbow down. So the half archer arms is left elbow up, right hand to the outside of that elbow, and resist. Push your left elbow out to the side. Resist with your right hand. Inhale, pushing into those active feet. Telescope the ribs up. Exhale, squeeze your sit bone muscles, that right one down the back of the right thigh. Feel how that helps you to move your tailbone towards the floor a little bit
and tilt the pelvis, making space in your low back and space between your front bottom ribs and your waist. Then inhale into the bottom ribs, lifting those ribs further away from your waist. Exhale, shoulder blades away from the ears. Unwind, twisting warrior. Right elbow comes over the left thigh. Make a fist with the bottom hand, cup it with the top hand. You can always do this by bringing the back knee down, patting that knee if you need to. Make sure in that version you're in a 90-degree lunge. You can also repeat easy twisting warrior. Push into your right elbow. Inhale, lift the torso away from the left thigh, up towards the ceiling. Exhale, squeezing that right elbow into the left thigh. Use it to help move your right ribs towards the left thigh. And relax your neck. Unwind, bring both hands to the floor. Step back into your plank. Lower to the floor. Low cobra or cobra. So for low cobra, hands are 12 inches forward. Cobra, hands underneath the shoulders. Unclog the low back if it works for you. Inhale, pushing into the hands, lift the chest forward and then up. Shoulder blades away from the ears. Pubic bone presses into the floor. Press back through those strong legs. Move your chest forward. Exhale, lower down. Down dog. Warrior one with archer arms. Right foot forward, warrior one. Right elbow up, left elbow down. Grab a strap if that works for you. And if you're using a strap, it actually goes on the right shoulder. The left hand reaches around, grabs it. Right arm bends, elbow up. You can also do that half archer arms with the resistance. Plug both feet into the floor. Activate them, spread the toes. Inhale from there, telescope the ribs up without the hips moving away from the floor. Exhale, squeeze the sit bone muscles, especially the left one, down the back of the left thigh. Move the left shoulder blade away from the ear, right elbow up towards the ceiling. Twisting warrior. Left elbow over the right thigh. Make a fist with the bottom hand, cup it with the top hand. Inhale, lift your torso up. Exhale, squeeze that left elbow into the right thigh to move your left ribs towards the right thigh. Relax your neck. Breathe in along your right side ribs. Exhale, pushing into that left arm. Move your left shoulder blade away from the ear. Let your neck take up that space to relax more. Hands on the floor. Exhale, down dog. Bring your knees down. Camel pose. Need padding for this, so grab that blanket. If you don't have a blanket, I'm going to show this first. If you don't have a blanket, fold over your mat. If you have a really thick mat, you could do that once. making sure your feet and your knees are on the double thickness. If your mat is not that thick, fold it in thirds. And you'll turn on your mat so that you have enough space for your shins, your feet, and your knees to be on your mat. I'm going to show this using the blanket. So make sure that your blanket is big enough. Again, for your knees and your shins and your feet to be on the blanket. Have your knees lined up with your hip bones. Hands on the hips, baby camel. Push into your hips. Inhale, telescope the ribs up. Squeeze those sit bone muscles. Exhale, send your tailbone towards the floor. Push into your feet. Inhale, telescope the ribs up. Exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. Slide the tailbone towards the floor, squeezing those sit bone muscles. Support this pose with the strength of pushing into your feet, squeezing those buttocks muscles, the lower buttocks muscles, those sit bone muscles. Also support it with your breath. Inhale, telescope the ribs up. Exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. And then sit back on your heels. If that's uncomfortable, stay up here. Just relax your arms. Another camel. In this camel, you could repeat what we just did, baby camel. But if you have further to go, you can go deeper. But everyone's going to start the same. Push into your hips. Squeeze those sit bone muscles. Already notice how that tilts your hip bone, the hip crests back a little bit, making space in the front of your pelvis. From there, inhale, telescope the ribs up. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. Exhale, squeeze your sit bone muscles, sliding your tailbone down. Support your low back. Make it long. Inhale, telescope the ribs up. Exhale, squeeze those sit bone muscles, send the tailbone down towards the floor. If you have further to go, keep lifting your sternum towards the ceiling, but you might start moving your shoulders back. Keep the hips over your knees. Don't let them come back or forward. Keep your hands on your hips. Keep moving your sit bones towards the tailbone. Your hands help with that. Inhale, lift the sternum towards the ceiling, lengthening your spine even as you come deeper into your back bend. We're not going all the way. This is just a medium camel, a supported camel. Keep squeezing those sit bone muscles. Get your breath spacious, and if you can't do that, back out. And if you're letting your head come back, it has to come back all the way. If that's uncomfortable, keep your chin tucked in towards your chest, and you can still back bend there. To come out, inhale, lift your shoulders back over your hips. Sit back on your heels or just stay on your knees, relaxing your arms. Move your props off to the side. Roll, or unwind rather, unroll your mat so it's flat again. We're going to do more abdominals, but this is a variation. So come back onto your back. If you're pregnant, you're again doing ab lifts with the block, so grab your block. Or you could do this keeping the head down, keeping the feet down, and just lifting one leg when it's time to lift a leg. You're pushing your low back into the floor, but not pulling your belly in. Everyone else, Bring your knees over the hips, feet lower than the line of the knees. Clasp your hands behind the base of your skull. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders off of the floor. Hold the breath. Scoop the tailbone up. Exhale, both elbows towards the left knee, right leg straight up towards the ceiling, pushing up through the ball of the foot. Pull your low belly down. Breathe into your low back. Come back to center. Hold the breath. Press the low back into the floor. Scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, both elbows towards the right knee. Left leg straight up towards the ceiling, pushing up through the ball of the foot. Pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Do 4 more like this on your own, feeling for massaging your low back. When you're done, come back to center. Lower your head, lower your feet to the floor. Breathe and feel. Feel your abdominal muscles, and then feel your low back. Feel the connection. The more you build strength in your abdominal muscles, the more you can support your low back. Then turn over to your side. Slowly make your way up to sit for a spinal twist. If you're not twisting because of a low back disc injury, what you're doing instead is a seated side bend. And we'll all start off with one leg straight. Straighten your left leg. For the twist, your right foot comes to the floor, to the inside of your left leg. If you're doing a seated side bend, bring the knee out to the side, and you're side bending in a neck release like this. I'm going to move to the side so you can see what's happening with my back arm. So this is only for low back disc injury. You can even keep it pretty straight up so that you're not opening up in your vertebrae on the side too much. For the twist, bring your right hand behind the hip, push into it, bring the left hand on the knee, and kind of hug that knee in towards the center line so it stays over the ankle. Pushing into the left leg, inhale, lift your ribs up. Exhale, only if you have further to go, come into your twist. And then you might walk your left hand a little further to the outside of your right knee, or you might even hook that elbow over or around the knee. But when you do that, if your low back just puffed backwards and your chest is curving towards the knee, back out of it. Push into both feet and your left leg. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, pull the belly in. Maybe twist a little more deeply. Unwind. Come to the other side. If you're in the seated side bend, come to the other side on your own. Push into both legs, even if you're in a seated side bend. Inhale, telescope the ribs up, get taller. Exhale, come into the twist. And you can come more deeply into the pose by wrapping your right arm around the left leg or hooking the elbow to the outside of the knee. Push into both legs. Inhale the breath up along both sides of your ribs and into your armpits. Exhale, slide the back of the skull straight back. So the back of your head lines up with the back of your hips.
unwind, come back to center.
Come onto your backs. One more pose before Savasana. Back release pose. Feet stay on the floor to start. Then bring your right ankle over the left thigh. Some of you may stay here with the hands, one hand, left hand on the left thigh, right hand on the right thigh. And you're doing this basically like a back traction, pushing the hands into the thighs. If you have further to go, lift that left leg away from the floor, grab behind the thigh or in front of the shin. Your right arm goes in between the left leg and the inside of the right leg. Flex that right foot. Breathe in along your whole spine. Exhale, squeeze that left thigh towards the chest. Relax your neck, pushing the back of the skull back towards the back of your mat. Feel here how the quality of your breath and thus the quality of your attention has shifted. Unwind. Do the other side. Feet on the floor first. Left ankle over the right thigh. You can stay there doing the back traction or come into the back release pose. Right hands either wrap around the back of the right thigh. Not the right hands, both hands. Around the back of the right thigh or in front of the right shin. Spread your breath along all of your back. Exhale. If you have further to go, squeeze that right thigh towards your chest. Send your breath into your low back. Feel there. And use your exhale to rinse around. Feel anything, everything. Feel how when you actually feel in your body, and in this case in your low back, your spot, it brings your attention there. And there meaning in your body, in this very moment, what you're feeling. And when you do that, even if it's momentary, it actually helps to quiet the mind. It changes the quality of your attention and the quality of your mind. You're not in the future. You're not in the past. You're right here feeling your body now. Then unwind your legs. Coming into Shavasana, have both feet on the floor first so you can settle your low back and your sacrum. One option for Shavasana is feet as wide as your mat, knocking your knees together. That might be great if your low back is really tweaky. If you have further to go, you could straighten your legs. If you're near a chair or a couch, you can swing around so that your back is still on the floor, your buttocks is right up against your chair or a couch, and the calves rest on your couch. And allow your deep breath to go, allowing your automatic breath to take over. Let yourself get heavy and sink into the support of the floor. And at this point, if you notice that your low back is really arcing, really far away from the floor, or if it's uncomfortable, bend the knees a little bit. So you bring your feet back to the floor. Lift your hips just enough to scoop your tailbone away from the low back. And then straighten your legs again. Shoulder blades away from the ears. If you'd like a longer Shavasana,
You could stop the video at this point and set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes.
attention back to your whole body. Take a deep, spacious breath, filling your whole core, from the bottom of your pelvic bowl to the top of your skull. Exhale, luxuriously rinse the deepness of your breath through every cell of your body, bringing in that energy into every part of your body. If your legs are straight, slowly bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor. If your legs are up on your couch or a chair, bend your knees more to bring the bottoms of your feet to the front edge of your couch or your chair. And from there, everyone turn over to your side. Use the palms of your hands on the floor. Inhale, slowly lift your torso upright, but let your neck relax the whole way up. And once you're upright, use your bottom hand on the cheek. So your head is heavy in your hand. Use your arm in your hand. Inhale, lift your head back up. Give your neck some support. Give your low back support. Push into your legs. Activate your feet. Inhale spaciously from the bottom side ribs all the way up into the armpits and into the shoulders at the base of the neck. Exhale. Just notice how the quality of your breath has changed through this practice. Take another deep inhale in, noticing how the quality of your attention has changed, and thus the quality of your mind. Meaning, you're feeling here, your body, your breath, your low back, but also any other part of your body in the present. Enjoy that. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Take a deep, spacious in to your heart area, including your arms and your hands. Namaste. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of whatever part of the day is left for you.